Today on the show we have Corey Taylor. Corey is a motivational speaker and author. He was born with a facial deformity, but that hasn't stopped him from living out his dreams.
I am 30 years old. I was born with a severe facial deformity that was known as a cranial facial deformity. At the time, 1988, that was just the term.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at it's a very broad term with like 20 different titles and everything. So I basically was born with no bone structure in my. There was no structure. It was basically just a flat surface with barely holes as nostrils. My two eyes were underdeveloped. My left eye was so underdeveloped that I have no vision at all, and my right eye was underdeveloped, but I have limited vision in it, where I see well enough that I can operate computers, stuff like that, no problem.
Yeah.
And my skull was actually caving in when I was born, so they had to do surgery for many years to kind of rebuild the skull, do a lot of reconstructive surgery on my face to get me to the point I'm at today.
Yeah, man, and it seems like you're pretty strong, man. You've been through a lot, and you've been through a lot of adversity. What do you think it is? Like, it's got to be something inside of you that kind of pushes you to want to be better. Like, what do you think it is?
It was the biggest thing in my family. It's been my support since day one. My mother and my grandmother and my father have been my rocks, through everything. Yeah. My mother and my grandmother especially, I had a very strong connection with both of them. My grandmother passed away last year, but I helped take care of her for years after she had a stroke.
Yeah.
And in my mind, it was you know what? She helped me. She brought me to and from the city, New York City, at least once a month, once every 2 weeks, for the first 30 years of my life. So I felt you know what? This is my way of giving back to paying her back. And how many people can say they paid someone back the same way that took care of them?
Yeah.
She took care of me, so I took care of her.
For sure.
And yeah, so that was the biggest thing for me, is the family support, and where it was just, that was the biggest thing in my life for now, even for my entire life, is that support I have in my family.
Yeah, and so
that's just
that's awesome, man. So you're looking into getting into motivational speaking. Are you gonna kind of touch on some of the things that you went through in your life, and what are those things that you're gonna touch on?
Oh, definitely. The biggest thing is, for example, I spoke at my old elementary school. The biggest thing that I talked about, it was the theme of the day, was overcoming obstacles.
Yeah.
Family was told when I was young, I was just born, they said, he's not going to make it. They said, if he makes it, he's going to be deaf, blind, and mentally challenged.
Yeah.
Years later, a doctor told my mother, she's like, no, he does this, he does that. He told her, you're just seeing what you want to see.
Mm.
You don't tell a mother bear that.
What?
She took a penny out of her purse. Oops, sorry. A penny out of her purse, threw it on the floor, and said, Corey, pick that up. Got off her lap, picked the penny, no problem, and the doctor just looked at her like, oh. So basically, I have my entire life just proven to everybody that no matter what, you can overcome any obstacle that is put in front of you, whether it's something that someone else put in front of you or your own struggles, because we could be our own worst enemy. I can't do this. I can't do that. Right. If we get over that, then we could do anything.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest things, whenever I talk to, because a lot of the time right now, and I hope to go further into adults and different venues. But one of the demographics right now for someone like me is to talk to children and to show them that even born with a facial deformity, that it's okay to look, because a lot of parents think, oh, don't stare, and it's polite. So, but for me, it's very much, don't be afraid to look and ask questions.
Right.
Because that's something for me that's been always very important. I want people to feel free to, I'm an open book. I am literally, people want to be careful what they ask me, because I will tell them straight up. So for me, I've always been an open book where nothing anybody says bothers me. And I believe rather tell them what happened to me, how it happened, everything like that, because it's a lot better than the theories they'll come up with without knowing.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, man. And speaking of open book, you're an author, right?
It's a work in progress right now. I have one book that is complete. I'm just trying to publish. It's a psychological thriller. And I have an autobiography that I just finished, and I have it out to its first round of edits. So
Nice.
I'm hoping to get both of those published sooner rather than later.
Nice, man.
And,
Congratulations.
Thank you. Writing was my second passion, where I was like 12 years old and realized, wow, I want to do. So yeah, that's something that I'm trying hard to accomplish.
You said that's your second passion. What is your first passion?
Professional wrestling.
Professional wrestling.
I have been yes, it has been a big passion of mine since I was like 2 years old, and literally I'll have surgeries, and the pain, nothing to do with surgeries ever bothered me, because I wake up to a new figure. Like, I had a collection of wrestling figures, and growing up, people have a lot of bad to say about it. There's this, there's drugs, there's this, there's that. But for me, it gives people an outlet that when they really need one, it gives people that escape. And people, oh, it's fake, it's that, this, it's that. No, you don't look at Walking Dead and say, oh, it's fake.
Right.
For me, it's I have always had a very strong passion. I'm as passionate about it as somebody can be that's not actually in the business.
That's cool. It's entertainment, though. It's great entertainment.
Exactly. Growing up, I actually got to meet a lot of the wrestlers, like Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker, a lot of the big names. I met them when it was just starting to get big.
Yeah,
and that was
WWF. When they were WWF.
They were WWF 2001, and they had to change their name to WWE.
Yeah, yeah. And so, who would you say your favorite wrestler is?
Overall, The Undertaker, hands down, is the end-all, be-all, because he is. How many wrestlers can literally be, someone go to them and say, "So yeah, we're gonna make you you're gonna be an undead character," right, and have them going for 30 years. Yeah. That doesn't happen. Yeah. He had all the skills, all the talent, and just everything about him. And like I said, I met him too, so it's that very big connection. Yeah. Where when I was younger, they came to my high school. Mm-hmm. Came to my high school, I was very shy. I was shy until I was 15, 16, 17. But I was 5 years old, and I'm with my dad, and I was dressed up as the Undertaker. I had the styrofoam urn that he always carried around. I had the action figure, and one of the producers came and said, "Hey, does he want to go meet the Undertaker?" Nice. Okay.
So you got to meet the Undertaker?
I got to meet him. Yeah. Right. And that was when I was 5, so I always look down. I actually tweet his wife on Twitter, and I always send her the picture and say, "Could you show him this?" So I just wanted to know, and now 30 years later, I wanted to know how much it meant to me.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. That's really cool. It probably had a really big impact on your life, I bet. Getting to meet your idol at a young age. That's awesome.
Definitely.
Cool, man. So, give me something that nobody knows about you.
Oh, well, this is not a lot of people. People that just me. I'm very self-deprecating. I'm very it's not, oh man, you're great at that. No, I'm not. Shut up. I'm very self-deprecating, where it's I could be my own worst enemy. Where I could write something in a best-selling novel. To me, it's oh damn it, I should have did this. I should have did that. Everything I do, I can be very hard on myself. Yeah. But by the end of it, I'm I did that.
Right.
And that's, for me, but the biggest thing is right now, I just I want to inspire the world. And basically, I have to get out of my own head to do that. Because if I tell myself, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, well, then how do I expect them to believe me when I say, you can do this, you can do that? Mm-hmm. So for me, it's just staying at, the biggest thing that people don't know is I'm very down on myself, but at the same time, when it comes down to it, I can motivate myself to do what I have to, because if I want to accomplish anything, or if anybody else wants to accomplish anything, mm-hmm, you to be at your best.
Yeah.
If that makes sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. And when you did the interview at your elementary school, when
Yep.
you were up there, were you pretty confident? Like, how did you feel when you were talking?
You know, they had come from a like an assembly where like they had to sit, and at that, you know how it is at that age, like you
Yeah.
want to sit for 2 or 3 hours. So when they came in, I was like, oh boy, this is going to be interesting. They were very, well behaved and quiet, but I was like, you know what, I want to go a different route. So I spent 5 minutes telling them about myself, but then I kind of was like, okay, what questions do you have? And I
Yeah.
kind of incorporated them into my talk because that kept them engaged because they were a part of it.
Hmm.
And that, and I at the end I was like, I got that, awesome. Like
Yeah.
I kind of just read the room.
Yeah. Yeah. You
The principal came up to me after. The principal came up to me and he was like, Corey, you just got their attention for a half hour. I can't keep their attention for 12 minutes. So that kind of told me, okay, I'm on to it.
Yeah, man. So what are your goals this year? Are you looking to do some more talks, and what is it?
Yeah. Right now, I have 2 talks in August, local.
Okay.
One is I'm doing an autobiographical lecture
Okay.
where I'm going to a local venue in town and kind of just telling them about myself, again, about overcoming obstacles and basically just putting your mind to something and achieving it.
Yeah.
And then the next day, like literally the next day, they're having like a stroke awareness benefit. It's like a craft fair, and they're having me kind of talk for a half hour to an hour, and kind of because with my mother and my grandmother both suffering, helping take care of them, I kind of have a good idea of like what people should know as far as caring for someone that has a stroke or avoiding strokes.
Right.
If that, so for me, like that's this month, and I'm just hoping that I want to book as many different things as possible. Like if I have it my way, I would be doing a different talk every day.
Yeah.
Because I love it.
That's
and hopefully,
awesome.
my goal is within this, like either this year or next year, to broaden out to other states, and eventually I would like to even go internationally. But kind of got to get a name for myself before that. So possibility.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So growing up, you said your parents and your grandma were your mentors. Did you along your like personal development journey, have you picked up any new mentors or?
Oh wow, where do I start? Yeah, two of the biggest is a woman that we ended up. I don't know if you've ever heard of Sean Stevenson.
Hmm.
He's a big motivation speaker. I actually wrote on his Facebook wall, and a woman got a hold of me from that, and she's actually like a life coach herself, as well as like into like spiritual things. So she was a big help for me. And another one was a guy named Adam Lyons.
Okay.
He started out as like a dating coach, and he went from being a dating coach to being an entrepreneur, and he's like a kind of like a life coach, but he helps you with business, relationships, anything really, and that has been like getting to know him through a game changer for me.
Yeah. What's in personal development? What do you think the biggest thing that has like shifted your mindset for the better?
The biggest thing is that negative voice inside your head. Do it. You can't do it. You can't do it. Throw it out your head. Like throw it out of your ear. Like get it out. If you tell yourself no, I can't, no, I can't, no, I can't, then you can't, and you can't. If you get rid of that, that negative voice, and you just tell yourself I can do that, then you can do it. I'll give you an example. When I was like 21, 22, and I had just started talking to Maureen. She was telling me she's like, all right, think of the most evil person you know. And I was, big into wrestling. So that was the character of Mr. McMahon, who was an evil boss, and he personified evil. So she's okay. I want you to picture that voice, him. So then it kind of like puts a face with that, with the voice.
Yeah.
So and I was like, okay, now picture him being thrown away, get rid of him. So one of the biggest things for me is if I see someone on the other side of the room, for like a girl, if I see a girl that I want to talk to, By the time I got out of my chair and took 2 steps, I would tell myself 500 reasons she wouldn't want to.
Right.
So that was something I struggled with for a while, just getting over that. Oh, people do want to talk to me. People do want to, that's just, I got to get over that.
Yeah.
I ended up going across the country to Colorado. They were having a big writers conference, and I was like, okay, I'm going. Literally, I read about it. Out of my way, I got the tickets. I got someone to help because my aunt works, and I got someone to watch my mother and my grandmother while I was gone. I arranged everything within 24 hours, and I'm like, I'm going.
Nice.
2 months later, it was time for the conference. I got on that plane. I was freaking out because it was my first time traveling alone. But I was like, you know what? I'm doing this.
Yeah.
First day of the conference, I'm walking down the hallway, walking literally right at me, but R.L. Stein, like the guy who started me on writing first place.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I don't want to bother him. I'll find him later when he's doing like a signing or something. I don't want to bother him. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I literally walked right up to him. I was like, Mr. Stein, I want to tell you, you're the reason I started writing. I just, we had like a 2-minute conversation, and I walked away. If I didn't get out of my head and tell myself, you know what, do this now.
Yeah.
That would never have happened. I never would have got to thank the man that gave me the influence to write.
Yeah.
And that for me was like a game changer. And I was like, you know what, just by getting rid of that negative voice, I just now traveled across the country. I not only talked to R.L. Stein, but I actually got to sit at a table with a group of other people and have lunch with him. Yeah. And that for me was like, you know what? Just get out of your own way is the biggest tip I can give.
Yeah, getting out of that. Yeah, get that negative mind, that negative voice out, and just doing what you know is right.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Cool, man. So where can everybody find you?
So my website is CoreyRTaylor.com, and they can also get me on Facebook. Again, Corey R. Taylor.
Corey R. Taylor. Okay.
And what else? I have a Facebook group called the Interface Institute. It's facebook.com/DIFI. And that's where I post videos. I'm actually working on restructuring it right now and getting it back up and running. But that's where I'm kind of starting with the motivational speaking and things of that nature.
Yeah. Awesome,
so,
man. Yeah, that's awesome. So you're doing.
I hope to,
You're doing big things, man. You're doing a lot. You're doing the motivational speaking. You're doing.
It's happening, but
writing.
It's slow. I'm very impatient. When I start a project, I'm like, okay, come on, I want it to happen now. Come on.
Yeah.
So I have two. Like I said, I have 2 speaking engagements coming up. I have my book and editing, but I'm like, now why can't it all just be tomorrow? Like right. I'm so ready for everything to start happening.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome, and you're doing good, man. And I can see like your spirits are high, and you're positive, and like that right there is key. And then with your confidence, like if you have confidence and you match that with action, man, there's nothing in life that we can't do.
Exactly.
And I think that's one of the biggest things that I've picked up from you is that you're really confident, and the courage that you have to just get out and just do things, like just go up to R.L. Stein and do things like that. Like nobody has the guts to actually do it, and you've done a lot. And I think what your biggest hurdle you said right now is just getting your name out there, just trying to
yes.
build a brand for yourself. What are your goals to kind of get better at branding yourself and getting your name out?
Guessing that I just like advertising, basically, just kind of just putting myself out there where I'm actually, if I like tweet something, I try and I'll go from podcasts all the way to like Ellen DeGeneres. I will literally tweet as many, networking. That's key with any task, networking, and because if the right people don't see it, how can it go anywhere? But like all it takes is one, like the right person to see it. Like, oh my God, okay, he could change it. Let's put him here. So I'm working on that. I actually just got started working with a speakers bureau, and I'm hoping that might turn into something. So I'm basically just kind of putting my story out there as much as I can and just telling people, about me until basically my message, you can overcome anything that you put your mind to.
That's
That
it.
there's nothing that you can't do.
That's it, man. And I know a lot of people have different definitions of what success is. What does success mean to Corey?
Oh man, millionaire. No, I'm kidding. No, for me, success would be just like walking out and I inspire the world. So I want to be able to walk out and someone be like, Corey, you just inspired me. I saw you at a speech. You did this. I want to basically have people. I want to touch everything. I want to inspire everybody as much as I can. And for me, if I have one person that I inspire at every speaking engagement that I do, that for me, because then that one person can go on to do big things and inspire other people. And for me, just if I inspire one person at a time, I'm happy, and that's my big thing.
Yeah, you may not be the one that inspires the world, but you might inspire the person that will change the world.
Exactly. And you know what? That's good enough for me.
That's good enough. As long as the world gets changed in a positive way, we're all good.
Exactly.
Cool.
If I have a hand in that, then perfect.
So, really quick, just give me what would be the one thing that you would want to leave, the message to everybody, your message, the one message that Corey wants to leave with the world, what would it be?
Never doubt yourself. Never, there's nothing that you can't overcome. But you can treat people the way you want to be treated, but also treat people how they treat you. If people are good to you, then be amazing to them. And if they're negative, then go out of your way to be negative. Go out of your way to inspire them to be better. And for me, just motivate each other, inspire each other. And if you learn nothing else from me, just learn that there's nothing you can't do.
That's it. And then, so I forgot this one question. I ask this to every podcast interview I do. It goes along with success. What would you say the definition of failure is?
Telling yourself no.
Telling yourself no.
Because if you tell yourself no, then that's it right there. You're dead in the water.
Yeah.
But if you don't tell yourself no, if you keep telling yourself this, I can do this, I can do this, well, you know what? Put the work into it, and you can do it.
Yeah. The power of the mind.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's it, Corey. Well, thank you, man. It's been an honor and a pleasure. Thank you for coming on my show.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Cool, man. Thank you. You're an inspiration to us all, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
All right, bro. Take it easy.
Take it easy.